Okay, so today we're going to cover the world quest Kosumoth the Hungering. You actually have to go through a series of objectives before you can unlock the world quest. First things first, you have to go to the southwest part of the Broken Shore, which is below Dalaran, and speak with Drak'Thul, and keep selecting the speech bubble options until he just says go away. Sorry the map is a bit hard to see. I'm not entirely sure where you have to actually go to discover this part of the map so it's visible. There's a small cave that when you approach, it'll say default because clearly they haven't updated the name of the cave itself. It's located underneath of a horde ship. Once you go inside of this cave, you'll find a very small mound of dirt. Right-click that to pick up the Weathered Relic, which you'll then return to Drak'Thul and speak with him again. Once you reach Drak'Thul, Weathered Relic in inventory, and speak with him, you're going to again want to select the speech bubble options over and over until he says go away. There's actually not much dialogue or anything to look forward to with this conversation. You actually have to speak with him a few times and select the speech bubble options, and after each conversation close the menu and bring it back up again until he does say go away. So once you do get him to the point where he's saying go away as opposed to offering any more dialogue lines, it's time for you to actually start traveling around to different locations around the Broken Isles where there are hidden orbs inside of caves, and you'll need to right-click these orbs. There's a particular order in which you have to click these orbs, and we'll cover that in this video. The first cave can be reached quite easily by flying to Azure Wing Repose in Azuna. Head west along the road that leads out of the town that travels along the coast of the zone. You'll eventually run into a cave on your right side. Before this cave, there's going to be a tree. At the base of that tree is a small opening underneath some brush. Head inside to find the first orb on the ground near a pedestal. The second of the 10 orbs you'll need to find in order to unlock this world quest can be found in between Suramar and Stormheim. I find it's best to think of it being in Suramar instead of Stormheim. Along the road leading north into Stormheim, there'll be a slight path that leads to the west up towards a cave full of storm drakes. Follow this path, like in the video, and you're going to drop down onto a small landing, and there's going to be a cave located there. Inside of this cave is an elite enemy that hits very hard. This enemy is susceptible to CC effects though, so just stun it or otherwise incapacitate it, grab the orb, and leave the cave. For the third orb, fly to Lorlathil in Val'sharah and head southwest through Thastala and the area in which you can find harpies. You will find a large tree that overlooks the Naga encampment that can be found in between Azuna and Val'sharah. Head down into a cave that's hidden behind some brush, and in this cave you're going to find an elite enemy that's an arcane elemental. This elemental does a lot of damage, but also doesn't have very much health. Kill it quickly, then grab the orb behind it. The fourth orb can be rather challenging unless you have the passive ability with the Underlight Angler that allows you to breathe underwater and move quickly. Back on the Broken Shore, return to Drak'Thul's location. Off the coast of the Broken Shore, where you will receive fatigue, you need to swim down to find a small crack. In this crack is a cave. The fourth orb can be found inside of this cave. Once you enter the cave, you're going to want to be mindful of your steps. There are geysers that shoot out of the ground that will deal damage to you, and this is going to be greatly important at the sixth orb later on. The fifth orb can be found in Azuna, in a cave that might seem familiar, because you actually enter this location as part of the Insurrection questline in Suramar. However, if you've never been there before, there's a large rift that cuts through the ley ruins of Zarkanar. Head down into this rift and you're going to find a small cave covered by some shrubbery. Once inside, head straight ahead and you'll find the Hungering Orb caught inside of some vines or some sort of twisted metal. The Sixth Orb can be found in an underwater cave that is north of Shield's Rest in northeast Stormheim. Swim off of the coast to the north towards some ruins of either a hammer or an axe sticking out of the ocean's water. Once you go underwater, you're going to notice that there's a toothless great white. Swim underneath of this shark, as it's not aggressive, and enter the very tiny hole that leads to the cave for this orb. After following the somewhat winding path underwater, you will reach an open cave. This is where the geysers are important. Should you get hit by one of these jet streams, they will kill you instantly. So you need to be mindful of where you step before you reach the Hungering Orb that can be found in the center of the cave. The seventh orb can be located in High Mountain. Fly to Skyhorn, then head north. Once you reach the Haglands, take a right and follow a path that leads up the mountain. This is actually the path you take to find the rare spawn Scout Harefoot that is required for the Explorer of High Mountain achievement. About halfway up the mountain, you're going to need to use your Rock Feather Skyhorn kite. With the kite, jump off the ledge and float down. If you're a demon hunter, this can be quite easy. You're going to need to land on a small landing on which you'll find a cave. This cave is actually slightly misleading. This isn't where you need to go. There's a smaller cave that can be found on your right through some shrubbery. Head inside to find the seventh orb inside of an animal skull that's on the ground inside this small cave. For the eighth orb, you're going to want to fly to Azure Wing Repose again in Azuna. Head east along the road that leads out of town towards Lothian, where the rare spawn Pride Lord Meowl can be located. Before you actually reach Lothian, there's going to be a tree on your left. Stop at this tree because there's another cave located at the roots, similar to the first orb's location. Once inside the cave, head towards the back. You're going to find a large bush located near a rock pillar. Underneath of this bush, the Hungering Orb can be located. The ninth orb can be located in the Eye of Azshara zone. There's a shipwreck underwater off the southeast part of the map that extends almost into the Great Sea. You're going to want to go underwater, enter the ship from the front, and follow all the cracks and holes in the hull of the ship until you reach the back. Note that since some of the holes are rather small, it's easy for your character to get stuck or clipped on the edges, in which case you'll just need to wiggle around a bit until you fit through. Once you reach the back, you will find a small cave that you can access by passing through some seaweed. Inside of this cave, the Hungering Orb can be found on your right. Finally, you've reached the 10th orb. Simply return to the broken shore on the southwest side where Drak'Thul can be located. Behind Drak'Thul, you'll see a table, and on that table, you'll find the Hungering Orb. At this point, Drak'Thul will laugh and will deliver a line of dialogue, but ultimately, you're done. The next time you visit the Eye of Azshara, you'll see that the Kosumoth the Hungering world quest is now available. Every 2 weeks, it alternates as to whether this world quest will award you with a mount or a pet, so be sure to do the quest a few times until you get both.